Hey everybody, I'm trying something new today. This is Ron Evans, and I am recording this for my Real Estate 101 podcast and YouTube channel, but I'm also going to post it to my regular real estate YouTube channel, Ron Evans Realty. In any case, you can go to ronevansrealestate.com to listen to my podcast or follow the links below to find this on YouTube if you wish to watch my awesome and inspiring video. Today is our 2-week update on the real estate market here in Orange County. I subscribe to Reports on Housing, which is put together by Stephen Thomas. He is a local economist and has been very good over the years, not necessarily predicting the housing, but understanding the numbers in our area and not making more out of anything than what the numbers tell him. And I really appreciate the way he puts the information together. So yeah, let's get started. And just so you know, this is what I'm working with, the actual housing report right here. I've gone through parts of it, not all of it, but we're going to just kind of skim through it together here, and I'm going to point out some things that I've highlighted. First and foremost, this is the last call for 2021. Housing is going to shift over the holiday market, and that's only about 7 weeks away. Isn't that amazing? Here we are at the beginning of October, and by the end of November, we'll go from the autumn market to the holiday market or winter market. And that happens right at that Thanksgiving break. And our activity will plunge to its lowest for the year. And that's pretty typical. That's very cyclical. The wintertime is typically our slowest time. I usually have personal success in fourth quarter, but a lot of people do not. So what happens when we go from our current market right now to the holiday market or the winter market? Supply plunges, meaning our low inventory that we currently have will become even lower. Demand plunges, meaning that buyers put their plans on the shelf for the holidays, and market time will increase slightly. Current market time is about 26 days, which is insanely hot. And it may go up to a little bit over 30 days. So while it goes up, it's a very slight increase. It'll still remain a white hot seller's market, even though supply and demand will both plunge. Keep in mind, supply will probably go down a little bit more than demand. Check that. I mean, the demand will go down a little bit more than supply, and that's what creates the slightly higher market time. So right now, I just want to let you know that typically, like I said, this is cyclical. If you remove 2020 out of the equation, which was our COVID anomaly in real estate, if you look at 2015 to 2019, so that span right there, inventory drops about 23%. On average at the end of the year. So what does all this mean? What does it mean? Well, for buyers, it means this incredibly crazy hot sellers market will persist. It's not going to change for the remainder of the year for you, even with the demand plunging. It's not just the demand that's plunging. It's the number of available homes to purchase will be plunging as well. If you think that you're going to wait until later in the year for a deal because the market is slower, it will not make sense. the temperature of our housing market will not feel much different in December than it does today because everything's proportionate. So what does this all mean if you're a seller? It is really the last call to cash in on the 2021 housing market and find success, meaning right now is the last call. If you're a seller who has clearly overpriced, you're going to run out of time and you're going to run into an end of the year situation with fewer participating home buyers due to the holidays. So right now is your last chance to be accurately priced so that you can take full advantage of them. Active listing inventory shed 110 homes in the past couple of weeks, down 5%. And now we sit at 2,179 homes, the lowest levels since Stephen began tracking in 2004. That's how long he's been doing this, almost 20 years. Last year to start October, so a year ago, there were 4,153 homes on the market. That's 1,974 more homes than we have right now. If you take the 3-year average prior to COVID, so 2017 to 2019, we typically have 6,400 homes on market in October, starting October, which is almost triple what we have today. Now, keep in mind, if we have 6,400 homes on the market, that's still a slight seller's market because I believe the number we need to be at parity is around 8,000 homes on market. And by parity, I mean a balanced market. If you take the first 2 weeks of the first half of September, there were 184 fewer new for sale signs in all of Orange County compared to the 3-year average of 2017 to 2019, so a 12% decrease. His quote is, "Every single missing sign just adds to the inventory crisis." Demand also has decreased from 2,623 to 2,521. So it's about a 4% drop in demand the past couple of weeks. So we're down 102% pending sales. And that's how he measures demand, is by the number of homes that go under contract into pending status. But that's not atypical. So he says demand typically drops 4% during this time of year. Why do you think demand drops this time of year? Do you think it's just the holidays? I think a lot of it has to do with school. Families are entrenched in school, so trying to move during the school year is probably the biggest challenge, and that's probably the biggest reason why buyers stop. And also in this market, they just get completely fed up with what's going on, putting in multiple offers, getting outbid by tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars on a listing. But let's move on. So if we want to compare demand, 2021 demand over last year, it was 29% higher last year. So last year there was 3,524 homes that entered pending status. But a lot of that was due to the spring delay because of COVID. So I said that we're currently at 26 days is our expected market time. The 3-year average from 2017 to 2019 was at 86 days, but still a slight seller's market. Now let's talk luxury. Luxury in our area is defined by homes at 1.5 million or higher. Yes, I know that sounds like a staggering number, and it's changed a bit since I started in real estate 8 years ago. But the past 2 weeks, luxury inventory homes priced above 1.5 million decreased by 29 homes, down 4%. And we now have 693 homes in the luxury market. That's also the lowest level since tracking began. Demand decreased by 52 pending sales, so it's down 5%, sits at 432. The expected market time in the luxury category, so that 1.5 million and higher, is at 48 days. So still a very hot seller's market. Not quite as hot, obviously, as the non-seller's market, but I can remember a time when the luxury time threshold, when you got to 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, might be 250 days, 350 days, 430 days, not uncommon. Now it's everything is compressed. Everything is fast. Demand is actually up year over year in the luxury space by 16%. This time last year, we were at 103 days expected market time versus the 48 days we are today. That's just how hot it is. If you want to take the 1.5 to 2 million, the expected market time increased from 28 days to 29 days. From 2 million to 4 million, expected market time decreased from 43 to 41 days. Just boggles my mind. A $4 million home, 41 days. That's like half the market time we used to have in just a standard market 3, 4, 5 years ago. If you're priced above 4 million, your days on market is expected to be about 135 days. This is where I was telling you not too long ago, you'd see hundreds of days, 300, 400 days. That's the world we are living in Orange County. So the summary, I think it's a good summary, and I'll kind of just go over some of these bullet points here and we'll wrap things up. And let me go ahead and preface everything here. I'm going over everything that he gives in the report on a county-wide level, just kind of breaking up price points. However, he does include and gives out specific city numbers as well. So if you have a question about your actual local area, your local city here in Orange County, please comment below. Send me an email at realestate101@Ron Evans Realty. Call or text me 949-929-2270, and I'll be happy to provide you with the actual local number that is meaningful to you. But for now, we're just going to go over the county. So summarizing what's going on here, the active listing inventory shed 110 homes the last 2 weeks, so we're down 5% in inventory. From September 1st to September 15th, there were 12% fewer homes that came to market compared to the 3-year average, excluding 2020, so 184 less. Last year, this exact time last year, there were 4,153 homes on the market, almost 2,000 more than we have today, or 91% more than we have today. Demand, which is the number of pending sales over the prior month, decreased by 102 in the past 2 weeks. Still, that's a 4% decrease, and now is at 2521. Last year, there were 3,254 pending sales, 29% more than today. But a lot of that was due to the spring delay because of the COVID lockdown. And if you've checked out any of my previous episodes, especially on the market updates, you'll understand more about that. I think I touched on it more last time. So with the large drops in both supply and demand, the expected market time, which is the number of days to sell all Orange County listings, is still at 26 days. But that's still even 12 days less than this time last year, which was 38 days. We thought it was crazy last year. It's even more insane today. For homes priced below $750,000, yes, that's now the lowest threshold that we track. We no longer track the 500,000 and below because there's just not enough numbers to justify tracking. The expected market time in the 750 or below category is 23 days. That also represents that price point of up to 750 represents 30% of the active inventory and 34% of the demand. For homes priced between 750 and $1 million, the expected market time is 20 days. So it's even less than below 750. Represents 20% of our active inventory and 27% of the demand. So you can see that's why the expected market time is a little bit less, because the demand is incrementally a little bit higher. For homes priced between 1 million to 1.25 million, the expected market time is 19 days. That's representing 9% of the active inventory and 13% of the demand. For homes in Orange County priced between 1.25 and 1.5 million, the expected market time is 23 days. That represents 8% of our active inventory and 9% of our demand. For homes priced between 1.5 and 2 million, expected market time is now 29 days. For homes priced between 2 million and 4 million, it's 41 days, and priced above 4 million, like I said before, is 135. In the luxury home, if you take all homes priced above 1.5 million, that is 32% of our inventory and 17% of our demand in totality. So distressed homes, let's talk about distressed homes for just a bit. And I'm going to talk some of my own opinion here before I go over his summary and what he's saying about the distressed area. There's a lot of talk. There's a sidebar here. There's a lot of talk about, are we going to see a bubble? Are we going to see more distressed homes, which are foreclosures and short sales, right? Because of things like forbearance, job situation, whatnot. There are arguments on both sides of why we might see some and why we might not. It's my belief that we won't see as many as what some in the media are predicting. We might see a few more, but you also have to understand what I'm going to go over here in a second. There are just so few available period right now that even if we doubled the amount in all of Orange County and had 100% increase, it still would be just a drop in the bucket compared to what we had in 2007, 2008 in the recession and the last big crash. Now, why is that? As I've stated before, people in their homes today just have a lot more equity. There's far fewer bad loans out there, 100% loans, low down payment, and there aren't as many people, if any, that are able to go out and just buy multiple properties without putting anything down. That's the situation we were in before with all the subprime lending and the predatory lending and just needing a heartbeat and breathing to get a loan. Those days are gone. So people have equity in their home. They can ride out market shifts and market changes pretty easily, and they're going to be less desperate. Given that, distressed homes, again, that's both short sales and foreclosures combined, made up only 0.5% of all listings and 0.3% of the demand. So the demand's not even there. The people looking for them. There are only 8 foreclosures and 3 short sales available to purchase today in all of Orange County. Let that sink in. 11 total distressed homes make up our market. But that's up 2 from 2 weeks ago, where there were only 9. And here's how it is. A year ago, there were only 16. So there's 25, 30% less today than there was a year ago. So that's why I'm saying that even if things went up 100% because of some of the other factors that are going on, you're talking 20 or 30 total distressed properties in our entire county. That's nothing compared to what we had with the last bubble and the housing crisis. In totality, there were 3,119 closed residential resales in August, which is 1% less than 2020 August. August also marked a 3% drop compared to July of 2021. So that just shows our market slowing down. Foreclosures accounted for just 0.2% of all closed sales, and short sales accounted for just 0.1%. That means that 99.7% of all sales were good old-fashioned sellers with equity. And that's not going to be changing much anytime soon. It's just the market that we're in. It's crazy for sure. I never thought I'd ever see a day like this. We don't see an end in sight. I know that sometimes you see things on national media and everything talking about a bubble and prognosticating over things like this, but when your boots on the ground here and you're dealing with it, I don't know what it's like in a lot of the other parts of the country, but here we don't see an end in sight, at least not in the near future. Well, that's it for this market update. Again, if you would like specific information on your city here in Orange County, or you have any other specific questions that I can answer for you regarding the real estate market, you can call or text me at 949-929-2270, or send me an email at realestate101@ronevansrealty.com. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping by.